Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Farm. Thinking right out here. I'm in the lab. I'm in the book. I got a nice little lesson for you. A couple of pages of my information. I like this. No, this is about virtue. Okay? What true virtue is. We'll find out. Let's go. Radism, 25 rule to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You choose to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this. Let's get that together. So I asked the question: do you know you? You will not get through if you pay attention. That's what I do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the information, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you, I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. How can they waken up? I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Mayat be true. Speaking of Mayat, she's the epitome of what we're going to talk about now. What is true virtue? Okay, let's talk about it. In order to truly understand what true virtue is and all other elements that drive a human being and cause him or her to be the way he or she is, we are who we think and believe we are, not who we want to be. We are who we are. We must begin to fully understand the teachings of what we call karma and reincarnation. If you didn't get it right, you got to come back and do it again. Simple as that. All right. Like not passing the grade in school, you got to come back and repeat it, or go to summer school to get your grades up, whatever. But you need to pass the requirements to move on. And in life, if you don't pass, you're going to come back again in the next life. But the human being is not simply just a mind and a body, which will someday cease to exist. No, stuff going on in you. In fact, every human being, mind and body, are in reality emanations or expressions, individual expressions of their eternal soul, which is God. The mind and the body are referred to as what we call ego personality. The ego is who you are when you identify with yourself from the birth in the crib. When you start building up that identity in yourself, that's your ego. You don't want to kill it. You just want to make sure it don't control you. But we have what we call ego personality. That's what it is. Carl Jung called it the id. All right. But it is, watch this, it is this ego personality, which is temporary and mortal. Again, the human part of you is the ego part of you, but it believes that it's God. Why? It edged God out and took his place, conceptually. All right. But your soul is immortal, okay? And it is perfect. The heart ain't ever wrong. Mind can make some mistakes. That's human. That's the ego. Mind, that's the ego right there, mentality. It's prone to make mistakes. The heart, always right. And watch this. Now, while the ego personality, wait a minute, the ego personality is subject to error. I love this. Okay? Confusion. When the heart and mind ain't on the same page, when you feel one way, you think another way, that's confusion within oneself, because the heart and mind ain't on the same page. And the consequences of those actions you're going to have to pay. So whoever leads you to that action, whatever cause you act, no, you got to pay the consequences, okay? But if human beings are to become aware of their deeper soul reality, this is the current state of mind or state of being is known as, you ready, the state of enlightenment. Once you come conscious of who you are enlightened. Why? Because other than that, you're in the dark. You want to be enlightened. You want to be taught what you need to know. Your job to practice it and implement it and use it. However, if a human being does not have self-knowledge, have not had the experience of themselves, of their higher self, aka God for themselves, then they exist in a condition of what we call spiritual ignorance and the belief zone. They haven't experienced it, they don't know, but they believe. That is the worst place to be. Why? Now you can be led around by your what? Your spirituality, your concepts of what you believe. That's never good. They told us to what? Know thyself. If you tell me the sun rises in the west, and you trying to convince me that, I'm gonna tell you out of your damn mind. Why? Because I know better. Simple as that. If you didn't know no better, yeah, the sun rises in the west. So be careful who you get your information from. If you don't know what they're telling you, you might want to, check them out a little bit. That's all. But taking stuff at face value is not smart. Moving on. Regardless who you, even me, Google me, fact check me. I ain't got a problem with that. That's my point. So, but to not know yourself, you're in a condition of ignorance, in which will what lead you to partake in sinful behavior, pain, sorrows, sufferings in your life because of those erroneous actions that you're going to partake in due to your ignorance, and you're going to have to suffer for that. I just gave you a lesson. We suffer because to master your desires in your suffering. Why? You suffer because you desire. And sometimes what you desire ain't always good, but when you get it, you're happy, then you got to pay the price for it, aka consequences. If what you desire don't bring you benefit or blessings, you might want to think twice. All right, now watch this. The ego personality, which is you, the individual you, is subject to what? The forces of time and space, and will suffer the consequences of the actions of you, the individual, that whether you be led by the ego, whether you be led by in whatever, you're going to have to pay the price in time and space. Those are called the consequences of action. IRE leads to what? Equal and opposite reaction for said action. And every action going to have a reaction. Okay? Dr. Clark? No exceptions. And this is the true basis of the teachings of what we call right thinking philosophy, or karma, reincarnation, or Maya philosophy. And when the ego personality, this is what dies, you right here, the ego personality, when the physical body dies, then the ego, which didn't get enlightened, is going to die a second death with the physical body, and your soul moves on. The three-part, physical, astral, and spiritual. The spiritual and astral is your mind and your spirit, the heart. The physical body ain't leaving this place. So it's going to stay here. When it run out, what the question is your mind connected to your spirit? Do you know yourself? Are you enlightened? Did you become anointed? Whatever they did, y'all call it. Did you reach that level? And if the human being has reached that level by what? Discovering his or her higher true self by obtaining what they call purified heart. In essence, mind and body. Your mind and your heart. Heart, mind, coherence, that's my phrase. Get used to it. Then now your soul, because it has knowledge of itself, is able to forward to move on and unite with what? Your supreme self, God. We can call it Asar. If you know Asarian myth, it'll be Asar, he's God. But if the ego in the person is fettered, meaning it's in charge, it's calling the shots, and it's going to be fettered, causes itself problems, and it's fettered by ignorance, full of itself, don't believe in nothing except what it wants and how it wants it. Then what happened? And then your soul now moves in an astral plane where it ain't going away. Why? Because until they find another ego personality, that's the waiting been to waiting for another body so it can get into the body and start another life. Why? Because the last one didn't get it done. So the body and the consciousness of the last person, they go together by Sandusky. The spirit, now the ego part, that the spirit, that lives on, the soul goes on. But now it goes to find another what individual who's gonna have what another ego personality that is gonna have to deal with, about to be born again, new life coming. That's what the spirit is at 49 days. The baby pineal gland grows in. That's the new life, taking on a new life into a new baby. Okay, God in the world of time and space, birth. It's not a rebirth to you. The rebirth is the new body comes in, but the spirit that's in it has been here a long time. It just keep hopping from body to body, okay? Like the parasite. Once the body ran out, okay, I gotta go somewhere else. Same concept. All right. So that it may now have what? Another what? Opportunity as a human experience to pass the test of life. We call it the game of life. However, we all players. So you got to get in the mix once you're born. You ain't asked to come here. Or you signed a store. I didn't sign Jack. Okay. That guy and my mom got together. And here I am. Doing the best I could with what I got. Moving on. That's just all we can do. All right. But when you're born again, it's this opportunity to have what? Your human experience. Again, that will hopefully lead you to what? This time around to discover your higher true self or nature, or guess what? You'll be back again. It don't care. It don't feel. It don't concern itself with nothing. It just is what it is. That's why the rules and the philosophy don't get caught up in a while, because they just are what they are. Your job is to follow them. And this is pretty much the basis for what? The teaching of what we call reincarnation. If you don't get it right, you're going to come back. Ain't that hard to figure out. But we do a whole bunch of other, this fluff. I don't like the fluff. Okay, so I'm gonna bypass the fluff and get back down here to some more good stuff. The meat and potatoes. Why? I'm old school. I'll let give you what's gonna fill you up. Okay, the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol for the heart. This is what it looks like. A vase, and that's what's on the scale against Maya. Right? Now everybody knows when you measure something on a triple beam, whatever's on that side, you got to measure it with product on this side. You utilize the triple beam, slide it down. And you know you want that scale to be what? Right in the middle, level. I've been practicing my yacht a long time. Like my mother-in-law said, and didn't even know it. I love scales. I love balance, weighing stuff out. Oh, man. Quick story. I got to get this one out. Every now and then I try to just tell you a story. This is a good one. I knew I was destined for the drug game. In third grade, I had to do a book report, a collage on what? Drugs. Back in the 60s, drugs was a big deal. On my board, I had every drug that I knew about my neighborhood. On the project, I got A+. Nobody recognized that. I was thinking about it, said, nobody peeped that one. I was proficient in drugs early in life. Why? That was I'm a product of my environment. Drugs was prevalent. I knew about all of them. Why? I was that kid who I would be there but not be there. I ain't saying nothing. I don't know nothing. And I remember I got caught. I didn't tell. All the big guys neighborhood said, yo, little man, my man. Because they just knew when the cops came to my house, they'd come get everybody. Because we had broken to the guy's house and they got me. I ain't telling nobody. My man said, well, if you ain't going to tell them, you're going to take the ass over for all of them. Yep, I sure will. I sure ain't going to take an ass over from each one of them. I'll take one from you. Yeah, I was never dumb when I had to make decisions on the fly like that. I'm going to survival mode. What's best for me at that time? I'll have options for that. All right, but we get that out of the way. So, what you do early, sometimes you got to pay attention. Drugs was my thing. I grew right into them. Moving on. But I had to get that out of the way. But the ancient symbol for the heart was the vase. And it's a heart that's shaped like a vase. Now, the vase, symbolically, is a container which may be really used for water, beer, milk, wine, whatever. But likewise, metaphorically, the human heart is seen as a vessel which contains all your thoughts, all your feelings and emotions, all your desires, and all your unconscious memories. Everything about you related to you will be restored or stored in the heart. That's the holding place for everything. The mind is the generator for that, but at the end of life, the mind don't mean nothing. They don't even keep the brain. Brain means nothing. Why? It's a unique piece of machinery, one of a kind. So when it's done, it's done. All right. But in the mystical terms, the heart now is the metaphor of the human mind, and including what? The three stages: consciousness, subconscious, and unconscious levels. Now, the mind is what we call the reservoir, the holding place of all your ideas, convictions, feelings. Therefore, just as these factors will direct the path of your life, so too they are the elements in which are judged in we call the Hall of Mayate by the two goddesses Aset and Netet, along with God Himself, Asar. The heart then is the sum total, watch this, of your life experiences here on earth. It's the recorder, not the brain, not the memory. Nope, 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 nope. And how about this? Scientists have just proven that we have a bigger brain capacity to hold information in the heart than we do in our brain that's in our head. Did you know that? And we knew that 5,000 years ago. Scientists proved it today, more than 30 years ago, and a lot of y'all still ain't heard about it yet. I'm telling y'all, the heart, the ab, the ab. Yeah, we knew that a long time ago. We knew that a long time ago. So when I'm hearing say, the heart, yeah. The birthplace, yeah. God, yeah. We've been telling you that. We've been telling you that for 1,000 years. Or now we're supposed to jump up and down because you figured out with your little funky technology. Sorry about that, but I had to get that in. Because we've been telling you the heart is the birthplace since the beginning. That's what God dwelt. Everything He tell you, I dwell in the heart of man. In the heart of man. Yeah. The shadow. He knew what? All evil lurks in the heart of man. That's what God is. You are what you believe you are in your heart. Simple. Black-hearted people, not good people. Simple. Moving on. But the sum total of your experiences in life, your actions, your aspirations, your conscious, or we call karma, and these are all judged in the balance against the feather of Maya, be it right or wrong, will tilt the feather on your way or in against you. If it's heavy, you got a problem. Okay, you can be as light or lighter. It's always good. But if it go this way, I'm ready to get busy. But thus karma really should be thought of as, again, the total effect of a person's actions while in conduct, during the successful phase of his or her existence in life. I ain't got to add nothing to that one. But how does that affect and operate in time of day? Karma will only dispense to you what you deserve. God will only give you a blessing for what you've done to get deserved to be blessed for. See where we're going with this? You got karma, you got the blessing. This ain't a blessing. If you got karma, who is it? Karma. Blessing comes in silence. Okay, he don't make this up. He don't make no announcement. Oh, the blessing's here. The blessing's here. Let's go. No, you don't do none of that. None of that. No. He just let it be known. This is what I do. But so the question is, okay, so how do past actions affect the present and the future of my life? Your life experiences from the present life of form previous lifetime causes what they call your unconscious impressions, which stay with what? Your spirit, your soul, even after death. That's why you have deja vu moments. Why? The spirit goes to a spirit. I've been here before. That's why. And the spirit keeps what? Memory. These unconscious impressions are what constitute the emergent thoughts and your desires of the aspirations of any and all individuals. These impressions are not exactly like memory, but this part cracks me up. These impressions aren't exactly like memory, however, they work like memories. For example, if you have fear in the previous lifetime of your childhood, of your present lifetime, you may not remember the event that causes you to have that fear. Because I know for a fact, I had to be locked up. That freaks me out. Close me out. I just lose it. So obviously, it's something about that in my past. But what's this? Now you may experience certain phobias. Again, falling and being locked down kills me. When you come into contact with certain objects or certain people, I went to Blacks and Wax. I had to leave up out of that place. I had to leave. My spirit may get out of there. I couldn't take it. So I was freaking out. Just something to that. That's what I'm trying to. I'm giving you my own experience. I'm just telling you, this is all what you can experience yourself and know that they know what they're talking about. Yeah, yeah, 100%. I know that for a fact. And watch this. Now, spiritual when you come into contact with others. Now, these feelings are caused by your unconscious impressions from the previous lifetime of your spirit. See where I'm going with that? Hope you understand that. Now, which are coming up to the surface of what your conscious mind, it just came out, seen that come out of nowhere. But when that situation arrives, you know, like you get that chill, you get goosebumps. It is this conglomerate of what we call unconscious impressions, which are judged in the heart of Maya. Your real true essence is going to be on judgment. And that determines where the soul will go to the next in the spiritual journey toward what? Evolution. Either you're going to go that way or devolution, that way. Reincarnation. Also known as the cycle of birth and death, aka reincarnation. I love this. As well as what life experiences, what they consider to be heaven or hellish experience. Why? Do the following. I'm going to read this segment right here from the ancient Egyptian instruction from Quran. And he explains this point. You know that you are not merciful on the day when they judge you, you the miserable one, when you got all your baggage on display, all your life things out for everybody to see. And you cannot count on what you think the passage of time by years. Nope. They consider a lifetime to them, eternal judges who doing the judging, but only an hour. You may live here 90 years, to them, a few minutes. That's eternity. We use the time. They don't. They don't care about time. Okay, that's the difference. And after death, the concept is man's spirit remains in existence, and his acts, what he did through life, when you recite the 42 Natty Confessions, when his acts accumulated beside him, that's when karma come by and say, hold on, wait a minute. I got something for you. That's yours. Oh, no. Yeah, that's yours. That's karma. Just what you deserve when you deserve it. And at Judgment Day, that's when she's going to invoke her most best present for you. Okay? Your entire acts accumulated that she kept track of and said, okay, this is yours. And life in this other world is eternal. No time. No, no, don't worry about that. But you ain't going to get there because you ain't got it right in this world. But he who arrives at Judgment Day without blemish or sin before the judge of death, and he or she will be there to become one with the netter. You become a Sar P-Funk, and will now walk freely and do as the masters of eternity. Know who I am for the rest of my life. And that's a long time. That's the concept. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little story. I'm wrapping up with you right now with this because I'm taking you to purification after this one. The reference I just read about, it references to what? His acts being accumulated beside him. That alludes to all the unconscious impressions that he thought he got away with, the stuff that we do that, we benefit from and think we okay. No, he keeps track of all that. That's what she's going to bring you. All the stuff that you thought you got away with. That's why you don't want karma, because she's gonna be a bitch. She's gonna bring you stuff that you ain't gonna like her. All right, but which are formed and all as a result of one's action. You, while what? Still alive. Everything you did is being recorded. You think the eye in the sky, you think, oh, no. We record our own self. But these impressions can be either positive, blessed, or negative with karma. Positive impressions are developed through what? Positive righteous actions by living a life of righteousness and virtue. Maya teaches that. That's what I live. That's what I practice. That's what I master. That's what I teach right here. And virtue. And my other kick in, mine is integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing when ain't nobody watching. Virtue is holding yourself accountable to do what? The right thing. Whenever. However. Okay? That's the true definition of virtue. And this implies what? You living in according to the precepts of what we call mystical wisdom, aka right thing philosophy, or being a follower of Haru, Shimsu Haru, a follower of Asarian resurrection myth, Haru and Aset. These actions will draw you closer to harmony and peace, thus paving the way for you to discover what? Your true self, where? Within yourself. AKA, know thyself. I'm taking it home. The negative impressions are developed through what? Your ignorance and your sinful actions. You. They are related to your ignorant mental agitation and disharmony and restlessness due to your egoistic ignorance, and you're doing things to cause your own what? Problems, sorrows that affect your life that you got to suffer the consequences for. The action that you thought at the time was okay. All actions ain't good, and you ought to know that. But this also implies that those actions that were based on, ready, anger, fear, desire, greed, depression, gloom, covetedness, egoisticness, etc. These are all actions that will draw you what? Out into the world of human desires and get caught up in entanglements, and they are really distractions from one's mind, and it will not allow you to fully use your intellect. Why? You bogged down a bunch of nonsense, you all messed up, confused, and your actions won't allow you to use your intellect to function in a proper manner. Thus, you exist at a level that is closer to what we call animals, being based on an animal instincts, not knowledge, but animal instincts and physical desires of the body, selfishness, rather than in spirituality, mature human being, to know thyself, and that's based on one's what? Right reasoning, selflessness, and compassion for others. That's how you work to be your best self. And I'm going to be back with a lesson on how purification of one's heart. Right thing, because I hope you enjoy the lesson. And see, they're getting a little long, but I'm just having fun putting it out there. And in closing, I hope you enjoyed it too. In closing, may you all live to be 100. Me, 100 miles a day. So I'll never know that my right thinkers who now, what we did, understand what true virtue is and passed away. Do you practice it? I do. It's called my yacht.